Your blood pressure naturally rises between the hours of 6 a.m. and noon. This is a biological fact known as the morning surge. Even if you are completely healthy, your body is programmed to increase your heart rate and blood pressure as you wake up. This internal clock or circadian rhythm prepares your body for the activity of the day. It releases hormones like cortisol and adrenaline to help you transition from sleep to wakefulness. For a younger person, this surge is generally harmless. Their blood vessels are flexible and can easily accommodate the increase in pressure. However, after the age of 60, blood vessels tend to be stiffer and less elastic. When the morning surge hits stiff arteries, the pressure inside the vessels can spike significantly higher than expected. This creates a period of vulnerability for the cardiovascular system. Research indicates that a significant percentage of strokes and heart events occur during these morning hours. The body is already working hard to wake up. Adding extra stress, sudden movement, or improper habits during this specific window creates a workload that the heart may struggle to manage. The goal of your morning routine should be to support this natural process gently rather than shocking the system. When you wake up, your sympathetic nervous system is activating. This is the system responsible for alertness and action. It tells your heart to beat faster and your blood vessels to constrict slightly to push blood to your muscles and brain. This is necessary for getting out of bed, but it means your cardiovascular system is in a state of high alert. If you disrupt this process with sudden stress, you force the blood pressure even higher. This can dislodge plaque in the arteries or cause a rupture in weakened vessels. The transition from sleep to wakefulness is the most physically demanding time of the day for your heart. Understanding this biological reality is the first step in protecting yourself. You do not need to be fearful of this time, but you do need to be methodical. The stiffness of arteries in seniors means the dampening effect on blood pressure is reduced. In a flexible vessel, the wall expands when blood is pumped through, which lowers the pressure. In a stiff vessel, the wall does not expand as much, so the pressure remains high. This is why the morning surge is more pronounced in older adults. Many people believe that high blood pressure is only a concern if they have been diagnosed with hypertension. However, the morning surge happens in everyone. Even those with normal blood pressure during the day can experience sharp spikes in the morning. This is known as masked hypertension. It is undetectable during a standard doctor's visit that happens in the afternoon. The key is to avoid compounding the pressure. Your body is already pushing the gas pedal. You do not want to stomp on it. Small changes in how you wake up can keep this pressure rise within a safe range. This involves managing how you move, what you drink, and what you expose your mind to in those first crucial minutes. During sleep, your body continues to function and consume resources. You lose water through breathing. Every time you exhale, moisture leaves your lungs. You also lose water through the skin, even if you do not feel like you are sweating. Over the course of 8 hours, this water loss is significant. Because you are not drinking while you sleep, you wake up in a state of mild dehydration. This has a direct effect on your blood. Blood is composed of cells and plasma. Plasma is mostly water. When you are dehydrated, the volume of plasma decreases. This makes the blood slightly thicker and more viscous. Thicker blood is harder to pump. It moves more slowly through the vessels and requires more force from the heart to circulate. Imagine the difference between pumping water and pumping syrup. The heart must contract more forcefully to push viscous blood through the circulatory system. This naturally raises blood pressure. For a senior whose blood vessels may already be narrower due to plaque buildup or naturally smaller due to aging, thicker blood poses a higher risk. It increases the likelihood of clot formation. Platelets, the cells responsible for clotting, are more likely to stick together when blood volume is low and viscosity is high. Drinking water immediately upon waking is the most effective way to counteract this. It restores blood volume and reduces viscosity. This makes the blood thinner and easier to pump. It reduces the workload on the heart exactly when the morning surge is taking place. The temperature of the water matters. Very cold water can shock the system. The esophagus runs close to the heart. Drinking ice-cold water can trigger a reflex that slows the heart rate or causes constriction in the blood vessels near the stomach. Room temperature water or warm water is safer and easier for the body to absorb. The amount does not need to be excessive. A small glass of water is sufficient to start the rehydration process. It helps flush the kidneys, which filter waste from the blood. The kidneys work overnight to concentrate urine. Rehydrating helps dilute this and signals the body that resources are available. This simple act also prepares the stomach for food. It activates the gastrointestinal tract gently. When the digestive system activates, blood flow is directed there. This can help balance circulation throughout the body. Waiting to drink water until later in the morning or replacing water with coffee immediately prolongs the state of dehydration. Coffee has a mild diuretic effect. While it provides fluid, it also encourages the kidneys to excrete sodium and water. Starting with pure water ensures that the baseline hydration needs are met before any other substances are introduced. Proper hydration also affects cognitive function. The brain is highly sensitive to hydration levels. Confusion or dizziness in the morning can sometimes be attributed simply to a lack of fluid. By thinning the blood, you improve oxygen delivery to the brain, which helps with alertness and balance. Gravity plays a major role in your circulation. When you are lying flat in bed, your heart and your head are on the same level. The heart does not have to work against gravity to pump blood to the brain. The blood flows easily and evenly throughout the body. When you stand up, gravity immediately pulls blood down toward your legs and feet. In a fraction of a second, the body must adjust. Sensors in your neck and chest, called baroreceptors, detect this drop in blood pressure as blood leaves the upper body. They send a signal to the brain which tells the heart to beat faster and the blood vessels in the legs to constrict. This constriction pushes blood back up to the brain to maintain consciousness. As we age, this reflex becomes slower. The baroreceptors become less sensitive. The communication between the sensors, the brain and the heart, takes longer. The blood vessels in the legs may not constrict as quickly or as strongly. This condition is called orthostatic hypotension. If you jump out of bed immediately after opening your eyes, you risk a sudden drop in blood pressure in the brain. This causes dizziness, lightheadedness, or even fainting. A fall at this moment can be dangerous. However, the risk goes beyond just falling. When the blood pressure drops suddenly, the body eventually reacts with a panic response. Once it realizes pressure is low, it may overcompensate by spiking the heart rate and pressure rapidly to correct the issue. This creates a roller coaster effect, a sharp drop followed by a sharp spike. This fluctuation puts immense stress on the arterial walls. For a senior with varying degrees of arterial stiffness, stability is key. You want to avoid these sharp peaks and valleys in blood pressure. The transition from lying down to standing up should be gradual to allow the body's reflexes to keep up. A recommended technique is the 3-minute rule. When you wake up, stay lying down for a minute. Perform some gentle movements. Wiggle your toes and flex your ankles. This engages the calf muscles. The calf muscles act as a secondary pump, helping to move venous blood back toward the heart. Next, sit on the edge of the bed for another minute. This allows the body to adjust to a vertical position while the legs are still supported. It lets the heart adjust to the new gravity requirement without the full demand of standing. Finally, stand up slowly. This staged approach gives your baroreceptors and blood vessels time to react. It prevents blood from pooling in the legs. It ensures a steady supply of oxygen to the brain. Rushing this process is a common mistake. The urge to use the bathroom or start the day often leads to abrupt movement, but the few minutes taken to rise slowly can prevent a significant cardiovascular strain. This is also important because blood clotting factors are often higher in the morning. If blood pools in the legs due to inactivity and then is subjected to turbulent flow from sudden movement, the risk of clot issues increases. Smooth, gradual movement promotes laminar or smooth blood flow. Pay attention to how you feel when you stand. If you ever see stars or feel a momentary wave of dizziness, this is a clear sign your body needs more time to adjust to gravity. Ignoring this signal increases the risk of a stroke or a cardiac event because it indicates your brain is briefly deprived of sufficient blood flow. The hormone cortisol is known as the stress hormone. It is naturally released in the morning as part of the waking process. This is called the cortisol awakening response. It helps you feel alert. However, cortisol also raises blood pressure and blood sugar levels. In the modern world, many people reach for their smartphones the moment they wake up. They check news, emails, messages, or social media while still in bed. This habit introduces immediate psychological stress. Seeing a distressing news headline, a worrying email from work, or an annoying message triggers an emotional response. This emotional response activates the sympathetic nervous system. It triggers a fight-or-flight reaction while you are still physically lying down. Your body releases extra adrenaline and cortisol on top of what is already naturally rising. This additional chemical surge causes the blood vessels to constrict further. It increases the heart rate. But because you are not moving, this energy has nowhere to go. The pressure builds up inside the system. You are essentially revving the engine of a car while keeping the brakes pressed. For someone over 60, preserving a calm baseline in the morning is essential for stroke prevention. The morning hours should be used to keep the nervous system as neutral as possible. When you delay checking your phone or engaging with stressful information, you allow your blood pressure to stabilize first. The content you consume matters. Information that induces anger, anxiety, or excitement has a measurable physiological effect. Studies show that mental stress can cause transient endothelial dysfunction. The endothelium is the inner lining of the blood vessels. When it functions poorly, the vessels cannot dilate properly to accommodate blood flow. This constriction happens almost instantly. If your arteries are already stiff from age, adding mental stress, induced constriction creates a very narrow pathway for blood. This significantly raises the resistance the heart must pump against. Keep your bedroom free of digital distractions in the morning. Use an alarm clock rather than a phone if possible, so you are not tempted to look at the screen immediately. Give yourself a buffer period of 30 minutes to an hour before engaging with the outside world. During this buffer time, focus on routine tasks that do not require emotional energy. Washing your face, brushing your teeth, or getting dressed are neutral activities. They allow the body to wake up fully before the mind is subjected to stress. Deep breathing during this time can be beneficial. Slow, controlled breathing activates the parasympathetic nervous system. This is the rest and digest system that calms the heart and lowers blood pressure. It counteracts the morning surge of cortisol. Even 2 minutes of slow breathing before getting out of bed can dampen the adrenaline response. If you must check your phone for urgent reasons, limit it to necessary communication only. Avoid scrolling through feeds that are designed to trigger emotional reactions. Your vascular health depends on keeping your stress hormones in check during this vulnerable window. Temperature changes affect blood pressure rapidly. When the skin is exposed to cold, the surface blood vessels constrict to preserve body heat. This drives blood away from the skin and into the core. This shift increases the volume of blood in the central arteries, raising blood pressure. In the morning, your body is warm from being under covers. Stepping onto a cold tile floor or into a cold room can cause a sudden thermal shock. This triggers immediate vasoconstriction. For a senior, keeping the home environment, especially the bedroom and bathroom, at a moderate temperature is helpful. Avoid taking cold showers immediately after waking. While cold exposure has benefits for some, for a senior in the morning, the shock can be too intense for the cardiovascular system. Warm water helps dilate blood vessels and support circulation. It is gentler on the heart. Stimulants like caffeine are a standard part of many mornings. Caffeine is a vasoconstrictor. It narrows blood vessels and blocks the chemical adenosine, which makes you feel sleepy. This raises blood pressure. Drinking strong coffee immediately upon waking, especially on an empty stomach, can cause a sharp spike in pressure. The effect of caffeine is additive to the morning surge. If your pressure is naturally rising and you add caffeine, the peak pressure will be higher. It is better to wait. Allow your body to wake up naturally for the first hour. Let your cortisol levels begin to level off before introducing caffeine. Having some food in the stomach before coffee also helps. Digestion requires blood flow to the stomach, which can help modulate systemic pressure. Breakfast itself plays a role. Skipping breakfast has been linked to higher risk of cardiovascular issues. The body needs energy to function. When you fast for too long into the morning, the body may release more stress hormones to maintain blood sugar levels. A balanced breakfast provides a steady source of energy and signals the body that it is not in a starvation state. Medication timing is critical for seniors. Many blood pressure medications or heart medications are prescribed to be taken in the morning. Consistency here is vital. These medications are often timed to counteract the morning surge. Missing a dose or taking it late leaves you unprotected during the time you need it most. If you take medication for hypertension, ask your doctor if the timing is optimized for the morning surge. Some physicians recommend taking certain medications at night so they are fully active by the time you wake up. Never change your medication schedule without consulting your doctor, but do ensure you are taking them exactly as prescribed. Bowel movements also present a risk. Straining in the bathroom raises intra-abdominal pressure and spikes blood pressure in the head. This is known as the Valsalva maneuver. Morning is a common time for bowel movements. Dehydration makes this more difficult. This reinforces the importance of drinking water first thing. Adequate hydration ensures easier passing and reduces the need to strain. Consistency is the final factor. The body loves routine. Waking up at the same time every day helps regulate the circadian rhythm. It allows the body to anticipate when to release waking hormones and when to lower blood pressure for sleep. Erratic sleep schedules confuse these biological clocks and lead to more erratic blood pressure swings. Your morning routine sets the trajectory for your cardiovascular health for the rest of the day. By respecting the physiology of the morning surge, hydrating before moving, rising slowly to manage gravity, and delaying stress and stimulants, you significantly reduce the burden on your heart. If you know someone over 50 who could benefit from this, share this video and subscribe for more simple health tips.